We gonna speak movies. To you, who has the most meanings in their movies?
The villain?
No. Let me rephrase the question. What actor has a lot of burning rubber? What actor has a lot of meaning to their movies? You can name two.
Okay, I'll give you Will
Two
Smith.
names.
I'll give you Will Smith for one.
I like that one.
For the simple fact,
Why?
you got Independence Day.
Okay.
You got Men in Black.
Right.
You got that too. You
Right.
have Our Robot.
Okay.
You got the happiness with his son because my man's had that machine that he was trying to sell and people wasn't even paying attention to him. And guess what? I seen that movie one time. I couldn't watch it again. They didn't understand what he had right there. He was black too. It was hard for him.
That's why they burn rubber.
Yeah, they clowning.
Like making a movie comes from something that actually happened.
To be based on true events to make it.
Okay, let me give you
believable.
another story. Let me give you another movie so you can answer too. Do you remember Jeepers Creepers?
Yeah.
Do you remember when it first came on? What was going on?
It was a lot of driving.
Exactly.
And it was basically in a remote area in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Exactly. Now
You know
let me
what I'm
explain
saying?
that to you. And I'm glad.
And look, a lot of movies is based on the middle of fucking nowhere.
Exactly. But let me explain something to you about Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers was based on a real murder. Jeepers Creepers was based on a real murder that happened in Michigan up north. A man had murdered his wife, and I could pull it up, and I'm gonna let you see it. A real murder. That movie was based on a real murder. That the first beginning, when you seen him and the girl and the guy and the other guy was driving down the highway. They looked to the right, and on the side of that school, they seen a man, and he was doing something on the side of a truck. Actuality, it was a man killed his wife. Real story. And let me pull it up, so we can elaborate the same thing that you gonna answer on.
You know, a lot of them in the middle of nowhere movies be good as fuck. Like you remember House of a Thousand Corpses?
Jeepers Creepers.
That shit was in the middle of fucking nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And them country people was fucking crazy. You're talking about like.
This is the real story of Jeepers Creepers.
Send it to me. Send this to me.
Just listen. Just skim through it a little bit. Just listen to just 3 minutes at the beginning. Just listen.
In 1990, 46-year-old Dennis Depew murdered his wife Marilyn and stashed her body. But the story is extremely bizarre. Although the director has never come out and said it, it's pretty obvious that this story is basically that's the beginning of Jeepers Creepers. So I wanted to come over and see for myself, see the abandoned school, and drive down South Prairie Road. This is where it all took place. Easter Sunday, 1990. Ray and Marie Thornton are driving down this road, South Prairie Road. A Chevy van comes up behind them very quickly and then very aggressively passes them at a high rate of speed. And that's when Marie Thornton says, referencing the license plate, "Geez, that guy's in a rush." They have a laugh about it and continue on down this road. And just a few miles further, they come across the abandoned schoolhouse and it's there that they see that van again. They see a man, and he looks like he's holding a blanket or a sheet that is full of blood, or at least it's red. At the time, they don't know. And here it is. The actual school, built in 1908. This is it. This is where Ray and Marie Thornton drove by and saw that same vehicle and that man. His car, I believe, was parked right in here. I believe this is where the big tank was. And he was somewhere back here. They see him with a blanket or a sheet. And that's right when Marie says, "What is that? That man, he has a blood-soaked sheet or something." And they were like, "Look, we're not hanging around. Let's get out of here." So they take off. They realize they probably better get the heck out of this area, so they keep on driving. They kind of take off, and a few miles down the road, that same vehicle, that Chevy van, right on their bumper, riding their bumper. And now they are freaking out. What is this guy doing? This goes on for a few miles until the Thorntons pull off and head down a different road. They can see in their rear view mirror that the vehicle has pulled off at the intersection. He's on the side of the road, and they say, "You know what? We need to turn around." Very ballsy couple, the Thorntons. We need to turn around, and we need to get a description of this vehicle, get the license plate, because he's up to something. We don't know what that whole thing was with the blanket. He was trying to put it into the ground. They turn around. They come back to the intersection. The van is still there, and that man is switching his license plates. The passenger door is open, and Marie Thornton can see that it is covered with blood. And they're like, we're out of here. They take off, head back in the direction of the school. They want to go see what this guy was doing. They head back. They end up at the school again. Believe it or not, they get out. They need to see what this guy was stashing. What was he doing? What was that sheet or that blanket? So they get out of their car and they walk down, and they find a little animal hole, and it's there that they find a blood-soaked blanket. He was trying to put that down a hole unsuccessfully. At that point, they take off and they're headed for the police. Now, this happened just after the situation at the Depew house. Now, Dennis and Marilyn Depew had been married for many years. I believe it was 18 years. They had gotten divorced, but he did have specific visitation rights. Again, Easter Sunday, he came to pick up the kids. They did not want to go with him, and he got into an argument with Marilyn, and she fell down. He pushed her, or she fell down the stairs. She hurt herself badly, and he basically dragged her out of the house, telling the kids that we're going to go to the hospital. We're going to the hospital. Well, they never went to the hospital, but one of the kids did run out of the house then and went to call the police. So what happened was a day later, they were looking for Dennis. He was gone. He disappeared, and it was a day later, not far from here, basically in between this school and where their house used to be. They found, I believe it was a town worker, a road worker, found Marilyn Depew's body on the side of the road, and she was recovered. She had been shot in the back of the head, most likely in the van, which is why it was so bloody in there. But they did a story about this, but he saw it on TV. He was living a whole different life at that point, took on the alias Hank Queen, and was living with a girlfriend. And down in Texas, I believe, Dallas, Texas. And he knew he had to get out of there, so he left that night and It just so happens that there was a long pursuit. He was shooting at them. He actually blasted through 2 police roadblocks, and he ended up shooting himself, I believe in Mississippi, in the head, actually in the exact same vehicle in that van that he shot Marilyn.
I just seen the last Jeepers Creepers and I was disappointed.
Some bullshit.
Yeah, how they killed him was so ass.
Because for
swerving
one, let me
down,
explain
my
something
man
to you.
was cold.
Because for once, let me explain something to you. You can't add nothing to a real story.
Yeah, you can't.
You understand what I'm saying? So now that you know, because see, motherfuckers know. See, he know. See, he just explained it to you if you didn't listen to what he said. I don't know why the story didn't, I don't know why the director didn't analyze to people that this was a real story. Did you see the license plate that pulled up of a Chevy 20 van that passed these people on the highway? That started the story of Jeepers Creepers.
Wasn't an ugly ass truck. It was a Chevy.
It was a Chevy 20 van.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
So, by that being said, man, everything that you hear or everything that you might not see don't mean it's not real. We just not in the photograph of the place to see it.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?